These are the top 10 drop spots that the pros are hiding from you. Even if you're not a competitive player, these drops will help you get the best loot and get you a victory royale. With the new season dropping, there's a few undiscovered secret locations. If this video helps you out, drop a like and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Starting off with number 1, we've got the Shack and Cave combo. Yep, this spot still hasn't been nerfed yet, and I'm going to include it again in the video because it's one of my favorites. It's super OP and always gives you amazing loot with not too many people doing it still. The location is on the far right of the map. We've got 7 chests in the cave and 2 in the shack with full slurp juice. Let's take a look at the pros and cons list. Starting off with the pros, there's guaranteed shield from the slurp barrels juice. Amazing loot, good mats for wood and brick, but a little low on metal. It's not a hot drop, which means you won't really be contested, and when you're looting in the cave, there will be no third parties. Here are the cons. It's a far rotate from the safe zone. There's no metal and not much mobility aside from the one zipline. You'll need a near perfect drop, as if on the off chance someone is going for this, it will be a pure 50-50, but I'll go over that in the next topic. Here's how I would play it. Land at the shack first, get full shield and guns, run down to the cave, and then shoot the person in the back. If no one lands there, you have full shield and extra loot. Rotate out, then go up the mountain with the zipline. If you brick your drop, try and land at the campsite if no one is going there as a backup. Here are some things to consider. Since you're on the outer edge, the zone will be far. You have to loot fast, farm the mats quickly, and start moving. Remember, all you have is the one zipline, so make sure that you pay attention to your left and to the right when going up the mountain, because there could be a little Timmy waiting for you to come out and blast you. My overall drop spot rating for the shack plus cave combo is a 9 out of 10. Make sure to check out my brand new Wasteland DEATHRUN creative map. It's inspired by the new season and it's super fun. We've got over 250 levels, and if you get the top 5 fastest time, we'll add your name to the leaderboard. So check it out and let me know if you can beat it. Coming in at number 2 is another OG, Research Rock. This drop is hands down my favorite. The location is on the bottom right corner. We've got a whopping 23 chests. The 2 buildings on the bottom have slurp and the one in the corner has slurp. Here are the pros. Guaranteed shield from the barrels, lots of great loot, a vending machine, great metal, good wood and brick with the rocks, no third party since you're on the bottom right edge, and good mobility. We've got the car and the zip line. The cons, it's a far rotate and people will drop here, guaranteed. Here's how I would play it. It doesn't matter which building you land on, they're mostly the same. If you really want to be greedy, go for the slurp buildings first. I mainly look for a gun up top, ideally an AR, and then play my side. As you're dropping in, take a look to see who's landing where. Farm the metal while looting and running around. If you get good loot, test the waters and slightly engage the other person if you're contested. If they play passive, chances are they didn't get good loot. If it's a deadlock and taking too long, try to grab the vehicle and leave with the loot you do have. Here are some things to consider. Since you're on outer edge, you'll have to rotate early but not as fast as the cave. The vehicle and the ziplines do a decent job of getting you out of there quick. Someone could try to hold you coming out of the spot, but it's quite rare and I haven't ran into it yet. If the zone isn't too far, take your time and loot up. Try to win the fight if you're better. You have multiple landing spots here, so it's okay if you're contested. Bonus, it's a pretty good spot for duos as well. My overall drop spot rating for this one is a 9.5 out of 10. If you're enjoying the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more tutorials in the future. Coming in at number 3, we got Ship It Station. The location's right underneath Plaza Pizza. It's in the middle of the map with 22 chests. The pros, it's got good loot, good metal and brick, center zone, has a backup spot. We've got the mobility with the cars. Cons, there's not really any slurp juice, low wood, and you need a good drop, and you can also get third party since you're in the middle of the map. Here's how I would play it. Land on a gun up top. If you get something decent, chances are you can get a quick elim from someone dropping in. Farm the mats while you're looting. After you're safe, farm extra mats, make sure you got everything you need, and move from there over to Plaza Pizza. When you're dropping in, it's important to look around and see where other people are landing for when you rotate out. Here are some things to consider. You need to practice this drop 100 times and then some. You want to position so you drop and deploy the chute as low to the ground as possible. This is a high risk, high reward strategy, as if you pull off landing on a gun, you'll usually be able to blast someone running in. I'm going to give this drop spot rating an 8 out of 10. I'm more of a safe player and this drop is a bit risky, but worth it if you can pull it off, as you'll be in the center every game. I've seen Peter Bot and his duo land here in the Cash Cup as well. Number 4, we've got Landmark Path, aka Olympus 2.0. The location is to the left of Olympus. It's a nice safe drop with 7 chests. The pros, it's safe, good loot, good mats. The cons, it's tough if you do get someone landing here and it's a bit far from zone. I also didn't see the treasure chest hunt here, so I think they got rid of it. Here's how I would play it. Land for a gun or a chest. If unconned, take your time looting and grabbing mats. Then rotate to either drops after that, Mount Olympus or Brawler's Battleground. Here are some things to consider. You'll need a good drop if someone is going for it, but if you're ahead, most won't contest you, which means you won't really die off spawn, which is crucial for solo tournaments and ranked. A 50-50 will be tough if someone does land, as you need to get a gun and be able to fight right away. I'm going to give this drop spot a 9 out of 10 because I like the unnamed safe locations and not dying off spawn. Just make sure your drop is good and you'll be fine. Coming in at number 5, we've got a new spot, Little Dirty Dock. We've got 20 chests here and it's at the bottom of the map. The pros, there's lots of chests and loot, good metal, and it's out on the outer edge, so less third parties, and you've got the slurp barrels and a car for rotation. The cons, it's a far rotate from zone, and it's low on brick and wood, but you can run around and try to hit the rocks and trees. This spot could also be a little tight if more than 2 people land here, which I have seen before. Here's how I would play it. Try to land on a weapon or a chest. It doesn't really matter if you go for the containers or for the little shacks. If you can, I think the shacks are slightly better than the containers, but if someone's got you beat, it's not worth the 50-50. Just land on a different gun. Grab a gun and hopefully shield quick and push. Most people won't be expecting you to run over right away, as they'll be taking their time looting their side. Once you eliminate the opponent, farm some metal, loot up, and then take the car to the zone. Things to consider. You will need a pretty good drop in case someone else does land here. It's on outer edge, so try not to waste too much time looting / fighting. I'm going to give this rating a 7.5 out of 10. It's a good safe option, but I don't really like fighting in those little containers. Make sure you watch my previous video on how to rank up fast and the top hiding spots for ranked. You never know when one of these might come in handy for you. Number 6, Cloistered Castle. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The location's in the top middle. We've got 8 chests with the island combo. Pros, it's a knife safe drop, decent wood / brick, and no third parties. The cons, it's a bit low loot, it's on far outer edge, and it's a bit tough if you get 50-50'd. It's low metal and not much mobility aside from the zip lines. Here's how I would play it. Land up top and work your way down. It's much easier fighting someone else when you have height advantage and can scope things out. Once you're done looting, make your way over to the other island for more loot and elims. Usually the island will have 2 to 3 people fighting and be in a standoff. You can use this to your advantage to pick off one of them for a free lick. Things to consider. This drop doesn't have much loot, so you need to be comfortable playing a bit scuffed. If someone lands here, you need to be able to fight off spawn, but most of the time you'll be alone. It's far from zone, so don't take too much time looting. I'm going to give this drop spot a rating 8 out of 10 because, like I said before, I do like the safe drops. And you can rotate to the island if needed. 7. Coastal Columns. The location's top right beside Classy Courts, with 7 chests. The pros, it's a nice safe drop, great mats, and no third parties. Cons, there's not many chests, okay loot, no mobility, and it's a far road. Here's how I would play it. If you see someone dropping near you, go for a gun like I did. Landing on the top part is key, as there's more loot here than the other building. Once you loot up, make your way over to Classy Courts for more loot / free elims with people fighting. Things to consider. Landing on a gun is key, as you can pick people off, breaking their drop due to the mound. This is a common thing. People don't know how to drop properly, and they hit the peak of the mound, so they start dropping in late. There isn't much loot here, so get what you can and rush over to Classy Courts. You're on outer edge with no mobility, so get a move on to the zone. I'm going to give this drop spot a rating 8.5 out of 10. I like that it's tucked away, simple to fight, and not mazy. These are my kind of drops. Number 8, we've got Coastal Comms. The location's on the far left of the map. We've got 4 chests here. The pros, it's a secret safe drop. No one ever lands here, and we've got the car for rotation, and we can stretch the boat dock houses. There's no third parties, and it's good on brick and wood. The cons, it's low on loot, low on metal, and it's on outer edge, so it's a bit of a far rotate, but you've got the car, so that's okay. Here's how I would play it. Land at the column, but keep an eye out for the boat docks. If no one lands there, you can rotate to it after. There's not much strategy here. Just land on whatever you can, loot up, and pay attention to the boat docks. If someone lands there, sneak up on them. If not, use the car. Here are some things to consider. There's not much loot here, so you have to be okay with playing with scraps, rotating around, and finding other loot. I doubt anyone will 50-50 you here. Rating 8.5 out of 10. It's so low-key that no one drops here. 9. P-Boys HQ. Location underneath Nitro Dome. There's 6 chests, but you can stretch the train station loot. The pros, it's a low-key underrated safe drop. Doesn't seem like too many people go here. We've got the car for mobility. Close to the middle of the map, so decent rotation to the safe zone. The cons, it's low loot, but I'll show you how to improve this right now. And it's a tough 50-50 if someone lands here. Here's how I would play it. Try to land on the roof on a gun and then go down. Talk to the P-Man and get yourself a free big shield. Loot up what you can and then make your way over to the wrecked train station for extra loot. After you got some decent loot, use your car to make your way over to the safe zone. You'll need to practice your drop as it's a tough 50-50 since there isn't much loot. You got time, so loot around after and get your mats and get kitted up. This drop spot's an 8.5 out of 10. I'd give it a 9 if it had a bit more loot. We've got the Slumber Yard, another underrated location. It's got 5 chests with a weapon case and it's at the top right of the map. The pros, it's a nice safe drop. We've got the slurp barrels, a car, and weapon cases. The cons, it's a bit low on chests and loot, and it's a bit far from zone. Here's how I'd play it. Land up top on a gun and work your way down. If you're con, keep height advantage. Try to make your way to the weapon crates for good guns. After, grab the car and rotate to classy courts for more loot and free elims. Here's some things to consider. Since there isn't much loot for you here, you have to be okay with what you get. I like that it's a safe drop, and for solos, that's key. Not many people will be going here, so you won't die off spawn. This drop spot's a 7.5 out of 10. I just wish this place had a bit more loot, but it's a great safe drop. Now let's do a quick overview and my final thoughts on each spot as a former competitive player who's made some earnings. With the cave and shack combo, it's a classic and a favorite of mine. I have no clue how people still don't know about this one. I've been using it since the whole new chapter dropped. The shack gets you full shield and loot, or if you have someone dropping with you, just go to the cave before them. It's a win-win situation, or vice versa. If you don't want to fight the cave, just grab the shack and go up to the campsite. Research Rock is hands down still my favorite out of all of them, as it's on outer edge. A few people go there, but if they do, I'm not doing a blind 50-50 for a single gun. I can land at a different spot in that location each time if needed and still get decent loot to fight. Ship It Station. If you value center zone and can battle, this is the drop for you. You just got to make sure that glider redeploy is dialed in. Landmark Path. Another safe option which I really like. I just don't like the chance that someone could still 50-50 me for a gun and not many chest spawns. It's not really a problem like I said because most people will veer off. Little Dirty Dock. I like this one as it's tucked away at the bottom. If you have good gun skill and fighting in those little containers, this would be a good one to master. Cloistered Castle. It doesn't have the best loot, but if you like the safe option, it's there. I doubt anyone will really try to drop here. It's been pretty low-key every time I've played ranked. If they do, land up top and they'll most likely run away. Grab what you can and then just rotate over to the island. Coastal Columns, a great one to try. It's simple, safe, and has a great rotation to classy. Coastal Comms, this one's super low key. If you want to land super safe and are okay with not having the best loot, go here. The boathouses act as a good backup, but be careful as people will probably go there. P-Boys HQ, this one is a bit of a hidden gem paired with the broken train station. People will probably land here, so get good at landing on a gun and then rotating over to the wrecked train station. Slumber Yard, it's a tucked away safe drop with okay loot, but the saving grace is the weapon cases, so you're going to at least get a good gun. Then just rotate out with the car for more loot. Try these out for yourself and see which one you like the most and fits your playstyle. Pick a drop and stick with it, master it so no one can beat you at it. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day where you drop, just as long as you practice it. Good luck!